Writing every day does not mean that somehow I'm any different from any other writer. I still experience plenty of days where I don't feel like going to the keyboard. I'll admit, though, those days are a bit fewer and far between now, I think because of the consistency. It's one of those things where it's like where you get so used to doing a certain routine. An example would be going to the gym, where the more you go, the less you sort of are like, I don't feel like going. More often, you don't necessarily feel any emotion at all. There are plenty of times you show up to this, in this case, the keyboard, and you're a bit indifferent either way. You're just doing it because it's a routine. You don't apply any sort of emotionality necessarily to showing up to the keyboard. This can be a huge mistake, by the way. Stephen King famously said that you can show up to the keyboard in any emotion, with elation, with your hands trembling, but don't show up lightly. And I agree with that completely. You should still try to be emotionally checked in, but the routine of actually getting to your desk, of going to do the work, generally it's more malaise than anything else at this point. Today was an exception. Today I had no interest at all in writing. It was something where I actually had to get up rather late this morning. Basically, I just happened to oversleep, and my entire day during my job was quite hectic. It's probably one of the most challenging days that I've had since I went back into the workforce last year. So certainly a very challenging day, but I got through it, came back, and I did a little bit of work. On these days, I talk a lot about how you should not write without a degree of focus. You should not go to the keyboard without the idea that you're going to have precision with your writing, that you're going to write a really strong prose. That's something you need to avoid completely. And so on days like this where you don't feel like writing, oftentimes it's very difficult to tap into that emotion, into the heart of the story. And so what I recommend is going a bit light, showing up but not necessarily doing everything. It can be very helpful too to make that compromise with yourself, to say, all right, I don't want to go to the keyboard today, but look, let's just do 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes of writing, and you get 20 minutes done. And yeah, more sometimes you'll get into a story and you'll go more than that. But oftentimes, just hitting 20 minutes is awesome. It's perfect. And so that's something I would suggest to you, is if you're in the situation, is to go for the 20 minutes, to get in there and just do a little bit and then leave. Your mental health will be far, far better. I know I'm one of those people that's like, when I'm not writing, or if I miss a day, especially way back, I'd like anguish and beat myself up for, like a day. I spent more time beating myself up than I would have spent just getting the work done, quite frankly. So you can avoid a lot of that, a lot of those issues. So what I recommend to you is to try and get a little bit done on those days where you don't want to. They're going to happen. You're not going to come in every single day fired up, ready to go. You can show up. There are some days when you can just show up. And showing up and doing something is multitudes better than not doing anything at all. So that's kind of my advice for you today, is show up. Kind of like myself here, just sit at the keyboard, and if nothing comes to you, nothing comes to you. But just sit there at that keyboard for at least a few minutes, and then you can call it.